Your survival rate is 4.32% higher just by not standing still. You have now been granted access to my knowledge database, the Codex. Access it now. If you are unable to find a piece of information in the Codex, it doesn't exist. When you are ready, proceed to the Tasks tab. Data suggests that regularly completing secure communication established. In this tutorial protocol, you will learn how to craft a stone knife. By commencing this task, you have shown your determination to remain alive, but this is only the first step. Follow my instructions carefully.
Oh, did that wrong. So, what you're hearing there is Dina. Now, Dina hasn't been in the game for quite some time now, but she was used as a tutorial service for new players back in the day, and now she's finally back. She's been revamped, and as you can see, we now have full access, as she said, to her database. So, any questions, any things that you need, you can go to your Codex by hitting Shift Z and look for anything you need. Pretty simple, right? Nice little feature there, especially for newer players that are going to be coming into Scum. As you can see, it will just give you your basic sort of how to start off on Scum Island, you know, crafting your basic tools, things like this, how to make a bag, stone knife, a bow and arrow, these types of things, you know, very beginner level sort of stuff. But it's mainly intended for new players. Now, if you want to turn this off, you can do. Just go into your options, and right here it says enable Dina. So you can turn her off, turn her on, and your survival tip level, obviously if you're new, you can have it on beginner, intermediate, expert, or completely off. Alright. So, we'll turn her off for now, and we'll leave her like that. What we'll do, we go into our Codex, into our tasks, we should be able to abandon this, yeah. There you go. Lovely jubbly. But there you go, that is the basic setup for Dina. Introducing her back into the game, which is nice to hear her voice again after so many years of her being absent. So let's move on to the next bit, shall we? So, next thing we're going to go through is movement rework. Now, some of these features have come in already. I'm just going to go through them quickly so we're not completely unaware and think, why does this feel a bit sluggish or slow as such? If you're obviously a veteran player of Scum, this is going to feel completely different to you. Alright. Now, as it stood, there were 3 different movement types, which was walk, run, and sprint. Now there's 4. So now we have walk, jog, run, and sprint. So as I'm doing now, I'm walking. I go up to a jog. I then go up to a run. And then we go to a sprint. Now, if you watch my stamina drop, as soon as this hits 80%, you'll see a notice in the movement drop. There. So now we've gone down to a running speed, okay? So your sprinting will only work for your first 20% of your stamina, after which you'll go down to a run speed. Now, another thing with the movement rework, we can sprint around all we want. As soon as we take a rifle into our hands, we'll go down to a running speed. So you can no longer sprint with a rifle in your hand. Alright? So just bear that in mind. It's also the same with a bow. See, our stamina's are over 90%, so we should be able to sprint. If I put the bow away, we'll go into that sprint mode. Take the rifle out, you see it drop down. It's not because we're running up a hill. We can run down this hill and it will still do it. But there you go, our stamina just dropped below 80 again, so we'll just hit this running speed. So this is mainly to stop the whole, you know, the mad zigzagging and things like that from going on from players when PvP happens. You know, the amount of times where I've had an upper hand on someone with a pistol and they've had, say, a machete or something in the hand, and they've done this mad zigzagging, and it's very hard to hit someone when they're doing that, but it is a bit unrealistic. And the movement for me has always been a bit unrealistic in Scum, in a sense. Now, one thing we also can't do anymore is bunny hopping. So before, when people used to jump, and they jump for miles on end, you know, these massive distances, you can't do that anymore. So we go into a sprint, we jump once, we'll jump twice, we're on 9% stamina. Now obviously this does regenerate a lot quicker than what it would if you were just sprinting, running down your stamina, and then having to get that back up. Alright, so you do have a cooldown on it. But as you can see, you're only going to jump 2, maybe 3 times at most now, depending on your skill levels, and then that's about it. Which again balances PvP out a bit more as well, makes it a bit more realistic. So, next point of interest. We all know that looting around in the daytime, nice and easy, we can see what we're doing. And even at night time, we do have night vision goggles to help us out. But maybe you don't have a pair of night vision goggles. Well, you're in luck. Because now, when it's night time, we have this lovely thing called headlamp. So we just turn this on. And as you can see, we can now see. Lovely jubbly. And I do really enjoy this. This is a really nice little feature here. And another little thing to note with this is we can actually decrease the intensity. So even though we still have some light, we're not going to be completely standing out to someone that's a mile down the island, you know, from having this massive intensity on this light. This is going to make you stand out like a sore thumb. But it does save you having to carry around really expensive night vision goggles. So, nice, cheaper alternative thing to use here. And it's nice to be in the game. So, next up we have armbands. Armbands came in. We can equip these now. And when we're in a squad, we can actually refresh squad emblem. And this will create your emblem onto the armband itself. Alright, so we're going to use this now for identifying teammates. So, there is a setting now that's been put in to remove all name tags from above people's heads. And we're now going to use armbands to identify each other. I do believe though you can change this in your server settings if you do privately own a server. Alright. But lovely to see. As you can see here, we do have the Mac 10 also, which came into the game. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So, uses 9mm rounds. Should find plenty of these around. But as you see, the magazine does go very quickly. Another thing to note with this as well, I've done 2 mags and this has lost 7% durability already. So yeah, you're going to have to really watch out with the durability on this because as you may know as well, weapon malfunctions have returned. Now we're going to keep firing this thing until we get some weapon malfunctions and then we'll go through them also. But before we do that, the Scum has arrived also. Lovely again. Nice Spectre soap on top as well for us. I've got a little silencer on this, but we do have a 2 times and a 6 times scope on this, which is lovely to see. Full auto, as well as single shot. It's not bad. Got a nice little line sight on top as well if we need it. There's a lot of kickback from this. A lot of kickback. Yeah, let's go have some fun and we're going to try and get some weapon malfunctions out of these things. So 5 full magazines for the Scum, and your suppressor's gone. Not bad, but again, durability wise, you're going to have to keep an eye on these things. What are we currently on as well? 86% after 6 magazines. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mags, sorry. Not too bad. Right, so we're around about 53% before we loaded that magazine in. And as you can see, we now have a blockage. So they are marked up. You know, this is a stovepipe, obviously. You should be able to tell by looking at the animation on the rifle of what it is. But yes, we were at 53%. That magazine took us down about 3.3%, I think it was. And then we started getting jams. So on the SCAR rail, and presumably on most weapons, around about the 55 mark or lower, you're going to start getting jams. Alright. But weapon malfunctions are back in, which is nice to see as well. Again, for PvPers, this gives an extra element of fun and, you know, just a bit of unknown to your firefights now. Because you could fire off a couple of rounds without realising the durability of your weapon. And then suddenly you got a blockage. So, you know, you're going to have to take time to get out of that while maybe a squad's pushing you. So, extra element of fun in my opinion there. But let's move on to the next thing, shall we? So, base elements I've had a retexture also, and a little bit of a redo. Now, I do like, obviously, the new textures. They do look nice. This on top is completely new on here. As we can see, it's different to what it used to be, which is nice as well. I do like this. Then we go to our level 2, which is a basic barbed wire. Level 3, full metal with barbed wire. Level 4, got our brick wall barbed wire. And then level 5 is our concrete. And the same barbed wire as level 4. But they're looking a lot nicer. A lot nicer. It's good to see. Now, let's move on. As we can see here, we've got inside walls as well, which I've done just to showcase them as well. Nice. Right. Now, big thing on this update is turrets. Now, we do have a basic turret here. As you can see, we need 2 improvised rifles and some other materials to make this. We also need 3 BCUs. Alright. So there is quite a lot you need to get into one of these things to make it work. But once you do, there we have it. Now, this is very basic, obviously. It's only 2 improvised rifles inside this. But as we go along, we've got an improvised 50 cal turret. Again, more materials. A bit harder to make one of these. But more worth it, really, isn't it? Look at that bad boy. And here, obviously, we need a flamethrower for the flamethrower turret. Again, some more materials as a circuit board on this one as well. Now, if we stand right next to them, you can hear a loud machine buzzing. I say it's a loud, it's not too loud, but obviously you're going to be able to hear this if you're outside someone's base. So, there's a sound you're now going to have to look out for, especially if you are a base raider. You hear this sound along with a generator. You know they're going to have some type of turret inside their base. So, watch out for that one. Let's have a little demonstration of these things and see how well they actually work, shall we? Light work. Such light work. So, yeah, these things are going to be very important now with base raiding. We show the range of these as well. As you can see, there is quite a large range on them. But I have heard that they are quite weak. So, you can actually take these out with, I think it's 70 rounds from an AK-47. Which isn't a lot, it's just over 2 mags. So, the materials you need for one of these things to build it, is it really worth it when someone can destroy it with 2 AK-47 mags? An EMP grenade will take these out. The rocket version of these, there are 5 different versions, so we've got the basic, the 50 cal and the flamethrower out. There is also a minigun turret and a improvised rocket turret. For these ones, you're going to need a sentry minigun, so you are going to have to go and destroy a sentry to gain one of these. Alright. And for the improvised rocket, you're going to need an RPG. But beware of this one. This will damage your base if it's obviously blowing things up very close to you. Alright, so just watch out for that one. The other ones I don't think damage your base. As far from what I've tested, they don't. The rocket one does. It destroyed a wall. So, yeah, just watch out for that one. But very, very good indeed. Especially if you're a solo player, you just want a bit of extra protection for your base. One of these things is going to come in handy. Even if it is just the improvised one at the end. You know, it's not going to cost you too many materials to make. The 2 guns on it you can make or craft yourself anyway. So you're not going to have to go and kill a sentry or try and find a 50 cal or a flamethrower or something. But saying that, even with a flamethrower you can craft one of those as well. So these 2 are probably going to be your easiest to make. The other 3, a little bit on the harder side. And a little bit more looting and killing needed for those materials. So, another little thing to note. We did originally have these come in a small update earlier on. I think it was last month, month before. Now we do have doors for them. As you can see here, twig hatch door. You get one of these and place it on top. And there you go. You can now lock these up with locks and lock protection. Nice to see. So there you have it. Let someone try and raid your base with one of these and see how it goes for them. Maybe they'll be able to destroy it. As I said, EMP grenades do permanently put these things down. Okay, at the moment as it stands, there isn't a timer for them to reactivate. So if someone does throw an EMP at one of these, it does destroy it essentially. Now, whether or not the devs do change this, which I hope they do, I hope it should have sort of like a 10 to 20 second timer. You know, the sentries I believe have 10 seconds or so before they reactivate themselves. I think it should be similar to the sentry guns, especially the cost of materials it takes to make some of these. To have someone throw one EMP grenade at it and it be down, it's a bit of a bummer. But there is going to be some great funs had with these things right here. So, one thing to note with these turrets, even though this is my flag area, these are my turrets, they can kill me. Watch. Come on, lads. Hello? As you can see, that is burning me. So yeah. Just be careful. Because they do hurt. So yeah, just watch out because they can damage you even though you're in your flag zone. Alright, just beware. Now, you've already seen obviously the cruiser, which I showcased in its own video yesterday. And that is pretty much it for this one. Now, I'm going to go through quests in a different video tomorrow. That is going to be a video on its own. I just thought I'd show the newer features that were coming in. So thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, give it a like, hit that subscribe button and your notification bell. And I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.